Hey guys, Richard here with eBike Reviews and Adventures. Today we're going to take a look at this 5thWheel Torrent 1. It's a new e-bike by 5thWheel, and it's got some exciting features I want to share with you, so stick around. Here we go. Alright guys, I'm excited to share this with you because it is what I call a budget-friendly e-bike, okay? It doesn't have a lot of high-end components, but the components it has are fantastic. What 5thWheel is doing here is they wanted to create a bike, I think, that was more budget friendly so that it was affordable for more people, that was a torque sensor bike. That's right, this bike has a torque sensor down here, and you don't find torque sensors on e-bikes that are, less than, I'd say, maybe $1,500. I've only seen torque sensors on bikes that were closer to the $2,000 mark. And this bike right here is about $1,100. Well, I don't remember. $1,199 maybe? I think it's $1,199. I tell you what, to find a bike at that price point that includes a torque sensor, I think is just outstanding. And here's the deal. I didn't find any in that price point that had torque sensors because it's considered a higher end component. And so normally you'd find it on a much higher price bike. So good on you, 5thWheel, for producing a bike that is more affordable for more people, that includes a torque sensor, because a lot of people, they want that torque sensor, okay? That's what they prefer, that's what they want. So let's take a closer look here. What do we have? So this is a skinny tire bike, okay? So you got 27.5 by 2.3 tires, but they gave you some knobby tires, okay? So it's good for light trail use, dirt, some maybe a little bit of gravel, that sort of thing. So you can, and of course you can use it on the road as well. And these are CST Patrols, so good brand tire, so happy to see that. Up here in the front, we do have an integrated headlight. We have hydraulic suspension forks with a lockout right there, and you get 100 millimeters of travel. So good on you for that right there. Over here on this side, we have mechanical disc brakes, and I think those are 160 millimeters on the disc there. They are mechanical, but you know what? This bike is only about, oh gosh, I don't know, 55 pounds or so. So it's not a heavy bike, primarily because it's got the thinner tires and it's got a much thinner frame. Look at that, it's got a much thinner frame as you look at that. Unlike some e-bikes that are really fat and big all over. Now, speaking of the frame, let's take a look at that, because this is considered a mid-step. Okay, so not a step-through, but not a high step either. It's just a mid-step right there. So it does make it easy to get on and off. Down here we do have some plastic pedals, but I haven't had any issues with those yet. I think they're fine for this style and bike at this price point. Remember, in order to keep the bike at this price point, to make it more affordable for more people, they have to offer or provide some components that maybe you wouldn't want to see. Maybe you'd want to see on some higher end components, but you're not paying that high end price either. So good on you, 5thWheel. So let's move on down through here. We do have this saddle right here. That's an interesting looking saddle. It does have a quick release right here. I can tell you guys, if you're gonna be riding this thing right here, it's honestly, it's not the most comfortable. It looks stylish, okay? But this, that long horn right there can really get you, if you know what I'm talking about. It does provide this cutout right here, so it's easier on the tailbone. So it kind of gives you relief from tailbone pressure right there. So I do like that. We do have a brake light, or excuse me, we have a tail light back here, but that tail light is not integrated with the battery, so it just straps on to the seat post there. Moving on back here, you'll see that they do have a very interesting looking fender right here. That's one thing I'm going to critique. I don't care for that fender at all. I almost didn't put it on, okay, because it attaches here just below the seat post as well. It's all plastic and it flops pretty good. And with this being a mid-step, I'm swinging my leg over the back tire in order to get on it, and sometimes I end up kicking this right here and it flops around. I don't care for that so much, but hey, consider the price point for what you're getting. Remember, you're getting the torque sensor, so hey, we can live with that. Moving on back here, you do have a 500 watt motor. Okay, so not a 750 like some people would prefer, but what I have found so far is even though it's a 500 watt motor, because it's got a torque sensor, it works well. You get plenty of speed on this thing. You know, this thing out of the box will do 20 miles an hour. You can unlock it so it does 25. We do have a Shimano derailleur and a Shimano shifter. Let's come up here, we'll take a look at that. Just your standard 7-speed SIS shifter you see on most bikes, even those really high-end bikes, you see the same shifter. Over here on the right side, you'll also notice that you have a thumb throttle on this side right here, okay? So thumb throttle there, pretty standard handle grips. Nice rubbery feel, so you're not gonna lose your grip on this by any reason. It's not gonna slip on you. They do lock down, which is real nice. Over here on the other side, we have a smaller display. So it's a pretty basic LCD display, but again, considering the price point, I think it works just fine. You can see it real easily. Now this bike does only have a 3-level pedal assist on it. So not 5 like the standard, but again, it's fine for what it is. It does well with that torque sensor, guys. I find with that torque sensor, I don't even mess with this really. I just leave it in 3 and I just cruise right along, enjoying that torque sensor. So that is the cockpit area. Kind of simple. They did not include a bell, so if your area, district, state, wherever you're living, if you're required to have a bell, you might want to see about getting you a bell to install right there. So that's it. That's really all the components with this thing. Oh, I didn't tell you about the battery. So the battery, they do use Samsung bells. They do use Samsung cells, and the battery is integrated, which I do prefer an integrated battery. And I believe this was 14.7 amp hour. So pretty good sized battery for, again, for the price point of this bike. Now, there's one other thing I'm going to critique a little bit here about the 5thWheel, and this is the same as the 5thWheel Thunder 1FT that I reviewed a couple months ago, and that is it has a lower weight rating, lower weight capacity. You know, I'm 245, and the weight capacity on this bike is 220. So 220 pounds is the max. I exceed that. It still handles my body weight just fine. I'm still able to ride it. I just, you know, don't recommend that. Don't recommend that you exceed the weight rating because one, you don't know how hard that's going to be on the motor over a period of time, and you certainly don't want to have any kind of structural failure as well. So the bike is really designed for someone who is, you know, certainly less than 220 pounds. So that, and other than this kind of funny little fender back here that likes to flop, that's the only two things I don't care for about this bike. Other than that, I think the bike looks awesome. I think it performs very well, and you know, for what it is, I think they did a really good job with it. Now, guys, I will tell you, I had Amanda riding this bike, and you know, Amanda likes speed, and so she said it was okay. She didn't mind it. She didn't care for the seat too much either. And well, I'm going to show you some of that riding footage right now. Hey guys, Richard here, eBike Reviews and Adventures. Got Amanda out riding the 5thWheel Torrent. We're just going to do some video clips for a future video with that. Brakes a little squealy.
Yeah.
Well, they're brand new. They got to be broken in. All right, let's go. Let's go around the loop, and don't go speeding away from me. Just stay kind of close so I can get some shots of you from behind, and I'll try to get some shots from the side. Hi guys, so let's show you the Torrent here. So one thing I noticed that it doesn't like to do is it doesn't take off from throttle. Okay, you got to start moving the bike a little bit, and once the bike gets rolling, and then the throttle engages. So not a huge deal. The only concern about that would be, you know, if you're at an intersection or something and the light changes and you need to get across kind of quickly or something, that could be a little bit of a problem because you're gonna have to start pedaling. So with that, you know, you may want to remember to downshift your gears over here a little bit, make it a little easier to pedal. All right. Another thing I really like about this is that motor is super quiet. Oh yeah, I'm telling you, it's super quiet. So you can't even hear the motor. You hear just a little bit of road noise from the tires, and that's it. But the biggest or the best feature about this bike is that torque sensor. Because I tell you what, you know what? I can just pedal comfortably right here, and we're just cruising along at an easy 11 miles per hour. We are in pedal assist 3, but if I want to get after it a little bit and put some effort, yeah, this bike really picks up and goes. We can jump up there to the 20 mile an hour max, and remember, you can unlock this to reach 25, which I haven't done yet because I really haven't ridden the bike a lot since I exceed the weight limit. But this is, I mean, it's such a smooth riding bike. I've really grown to love torque sensor bikes. I've had a couple now, and I like it a lot. And I know a lot of you are looking for those torque sensors as well, because they're just, it's like riding a traditional bike. You know, it feels like a traditional bike. You get a little better exercise with a torque sensor bike. So you, whatever effort you put into it, then the motor, you know, it gives you power back, so it helps you along. But just, it feels so great. I'll hop up here, let a car go past us. I have ridden this across the grass, and I tell you what, these skinnier tires, they did fine. You know, you don't have as much grip on the road as you might on a regular fat tire, but a lot of people don't like fat tires, you know, especially if you're just going to be on the hard surface all the time. And I understand that. You know, people don't want the extra tire, they don't want the extra friction. They're looking for a skinnier tire. So I really appreciate that they gave you not a street tire. They still gave you a knobby tire, but it's a skinny tire. Now, being that I'm a 6'1" guy, I will tell you that I have to lean over a lot. And you might notice that in the camera angle here. I do have to lean over a lot. And so if this was a bike that I could ride and I did not exceed the weight limit, I would definitely be adding a stem riser right here to just raise this up a few inches. I'm just gonna relax for a minute and hit that throttle. So we're already up there to 18, 19, 20. There, it's gonna let me go to 21. And so the motor cuts out at 21 because that's where it's limited to at the moment. And even though we've got the motor engaged pretty high there, you can't hear much. You hear just a little bit of a hum on the motor, and that's all. So I like that. I always appreciate when you have a motor that's quiet, you know. No one wants to go screaming down the road, so I always appreciate that. So even at 20 miles an hour, you know, I didn't look to see what what kind of cassette they had in the back. We know it's a 7-speed, but I'm guessing it's probably maybe the small sprocket is a 12 or something, because even at 18, 19, 20 miles per hour, I can comfortably pedal this. And even higher end bikes, they don't have the gearing right. And by the time you reach 14, 15 miles an hour, you can no longer keep up with the pedals because there's a lot of ghost pedaling. So that's a huge feature also that I should have mentioned earlier. And that is the gearing is really good on this bike. And there's just no ghost pedaling. I mean, that's 18 and there's 19. There's 20. Oh, I just hit 21. And no ghost pedaling. Just a nice smooth ride. Feels real good in the pedal. Plenty of resistance there. Yeah, just a great feeling bike. This reminds me of another bike I just did a review on recently that the gearing was just perfect on that. And so that's 2 bikes now in a row that I have that the gearing was done correctly by the manufacturer, and you can pedal all the way through to the top speed. So these are no-name brand brakes on the front. We'll go ahead and test those out right here. I could have locked those wheels up. Don't like doing that. Oh, gotta give this thing a rotation before the motor kicks in. Yeah, I don't like locking my wheels up, but I still had plenty there that I could have grabbed on the levers. So we probably could have locked it up. And I don't have these brakes seated in because I just haven't been riding it that much. So that's why you still have some of that brand new brake sound there. Yeah, just a great bike all around, especially at that price point. I think the pricing is perfect for what you're getting here. You're getting a great bike, a great torque sensor bike. Hey guys, that's the review of the 5thWheel Torrent 1. Make sure you follow the link below to go down there, check it out, check out the details, do your own research, and let me know what you think. If you have questions, drop them down below, and I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have about the Torrent 1 right here. And until the next video, ride safe.